Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It's May 21st, 2014, and here are our top stories.
Tonight, a man claims that the Albuquerque police kicked him so hard that he lost a testicle. Aye. Plus, the lefties suggest that the VA scandal is just another conspiracy theory to take down Obama. And Democrat Congressman Joe Garcia says they've proved that communism works.
We've proved that communism works. If you give everybody a good government job, there's no crime.
You're not going to eat that. You're not going to eat it. That ain't right. All that plus much more up next on the INFOWARS Nightly News.
And welcome back. There's been a lot of talk about the VA scandal, about how veterans are treated, how they're not being treated, I guess, is a more accurate statement. Our very own Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs recently went to the VA. He's a new resident here in Austin. And this is a guy, a combat veteran, an injured veteran, who has internal bleeding. Now imagine this, not just if you're a veteran, but just any person. You go to the doctor and you say, hey, doctor, I have internal bleeding, which Biggs does. And the doctor says, hey, we'll see you in July. So if you're watching this on a later date on YouTube, if you go to the doctor and it's May right now, and the doctor says, come back in July for your internal bleeding, to me, that's a disparity of care. And that's one of the big reasons why people actually go into the military. They think I'll go to the military and I'll be set for life with these benefits. And that's just not the case. But now the mainstream, the establishment is saying that that is not the case. They have Bill Press saying the VA scandal is just another Republican conspiracy theory.
This is just another big lie. But, you know, on the conspiracies, you're right. They went after Obamacare. They were going to run on that this year. That ran out of gas because it's doing so well. So now they've turned to Benghazi. This is soon going to run out of gas. What's next? The VA. I'll bet you that's what they're going to run on next.
Well, they're trying to make the VA, it's conspiracy, it's fear-mongering.
They are priming the pump for impeachment. That's what they're doing, and they don't care whether or not it's the law.
So you heard it right there. It's a conspiracy theory. Obamacare is going great. Nobody's being kicked off their plans in Florida or California. Nobody's seen their premiums increase, so that's going fine and dandy. And also, Mr. Joe Madison, he said that they're priming the pump for impeachment. Now, if you watch the full clip, he brings up Obamacare and also Benghazi. And he said when Hillary decides to run in 2016, they'll bring up all the same stuff again, Benghazi, Obamacare, Fast and Furious. I'm like, yeah, you should continue to bring up Benghazi, especially for Mrs. Clinton, because she is more concerned about her re-election campaign, or should I say her election campaign in general, than she is about covering these true and factual things that are going on that caused the death of Ambassador Stevens. But they don't want you to talk about that. It's a conspiracy theory. Another thing that's a conspiracy theory, VA supervisor, older veteran should be shot in the head to save money.
I personally am not against non-veterans. I'm 100% for my veterans, but I'm not a non-veteran hater. However, you have supervisors in supervisory positions in this hospital that have been made statements, racial slurs against veterans, have made statements that, you know, older veterans, they should just be taken outside and shot in the head because they're worthless. And this person still works there, and he's still a supervisor. You tell me how wrong that is.
So there you have it, a whistleblower saying that, hey, he's been told that people should be taken outside and shot in the head, as well as many other things going on. You can go watch that full interview that Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs conducted. Now, this person wishes to remain anonymous, but we have been contacted by other people. Some people wish to remain anonymous, other people so much not. But regardless, we're going to continue to bring you these stories that the mainstream media say are not happening. There are no veterans. This guy says people are even being lost on the grounds of the VA. But, you know, according to the mainstream media, this is not happening. But, you know, here's another story that proves that it is happening. VA whistleblower says he's been demoted and bullied. And this is Dr. Jose Matthews. He says he's paying the price for being a whistleblower at the VA in St. Louis. Matthews was head of psychiatry at the VA, and he came forward to say that doctors are treating only half of the mental health patients they have the capacity to handle. And it says he's been promptly removed and told not to contact any of these psychiatrists that he was previously leading. And once again, they're saying that this is not happening. This is one of the stories that I guess this administration, they find out by watching local news in between the breaks of the basketball game or whatever. And this is how they find out about their information. This is very pertinent information. You have military veterans committing suicide 20 times a day. But, you know, nobody cares about this. These guys, they need help. Like we talked about previously, you got these guys who have mental health issues. Not saying all of them do, but some of them do, and they're not even being able to receive the care that they need in addition to physical care, like Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, who wakes up in the middle of the night coughing up blood because he has internal bleeding. They say, come back in 2 months and we'll see what we can do for you. This is the type of stuff that needs to be reported, not talking about, you know, celebrity baby pictures and all kinds of other crap. It's the socialized system, and now we have a Democratic congressman saying that he's proved that communism works.
Two of the safest cities in America, two of them are on the border with Mexico. And of course, the reason it is, you know, we've proved that communism works. If you give everybody a good government job, there's no crime.
And Florida, that was your congressman, Joe Garcia, saying that we've proved that communism works, that it's a great idea. I mean, it's not like we, you know, had any conflict, you know, against a foreign power saying that, no, we don't want this here in the U.S. But apparently, in the year of 2014, it's all peachy keen, and it's the thing that we need here in the country. A gentleman with strange grooming habits and also strange political affiliations, but, you know, if that's what works for him and he wants communism in his state, please keep it there, because don't mess with Texas or Oklahoma. And we go from the socialized system of communism to now this socialized health care. Federal funds earmarked to offset Affordable Care Act insurer losses. The Obama administration has quietly adjusted key provisions of its signature health care law to potentially make billions of additional taxpayer dollars available to the insurance industry if companies providing coverage through the Affordable Care Act lose money, which is to say that they pretty much expect you to lose money. So they'll just say, we'll give you just even more money. How much were those Obamacare commercials worth? It was a whole lot of money they put into promoting this. Even here in the city of Austin, you can drive down I-35 and they have these big billboards that just say healthcare or healthcare.gov. And so they're putting money into this. They really want you enrolled. They have the basketball players, you know, promoting this. You know, everywhere you look, you can just see this everywhere. They get all these big celebrities from the movies and TV shows and say, hey, this is so great. People who, you know, by no means would need the healthcare benefits package because they're so rich, but they tell you that, hey, you need to get on it. And you're a bad parent if you don't make your kid get on this, if you don't shame your kids, and when you sit around the table at Thanksgiving or Christmas and just bully them, badger them into getting this, then you're a bad parent. So let's move on to our next story. We'll talk about bad parents and we'll talk about some bad police officers. Because in the clip with Joe Garcia, he's saying that if you give everybody a government job, there would be no crime. But what if the people with these government jobs are committing the crime? And now we have this. Man claims Albuquerque police caused him to lose a testicle.
The video appears to show the officer throwing Martin to the ground face first. He's then put in handcuffs and eventually into a squad car. A sergeant called to the hospital later documented Martin's injuries. They included scrapes to his face, wrists, and one knee. According to the criminal complaint, that sergeant also noted Martin had a dressing over his genitals for an injury that required removal of one testicle.
So according to a congressman who says communism is so great, if you have everybody working for the government, you will have no crime. But there's a crime right there, hitting a man in the groin so hard that he actually lost a testicle. And even if the guy was driving drunk, that does not give you an excuse to beat the guy's testicles, just put it bluntly out there. I mean, if he is driving drunk, if he is being a little mouthy, that does not give you the right to physically harm somebody. They could just easily taken the guy to jail. They said that he was being combative. I didn't see the guy being combative other than trying to protect his testicles, which is nothing wrong with that. You know, guy just wants to defend his bodily parts. But the police say this is all fine, and just I guess for the Albuquerque Police Department, this is fine because, you know, this is the department that will kill a homeless man, execute a homeless man for camping. Apparently a good enough reason to kill a man dead and then stick a dog on him and then shoot him multiple times on the ground with a beanbag gun after he's already hit the ground. Just completely ridiculous. I hope they do get some justice out there in Albuquerque. We've seen the videos of the people fighting back, not so much physically fighting back, but fighting back in the legal system, going to their city council meetings and saying, hey, we need to get you guys out of here. And that's what you need to do. If you live in one of these cities with a corrupt police department or sheriff's department, go to your city council meetings, take those over peacefully, and just say, hey, here's your pink slip. You guys need to get up out of here. If nothing else, leave before we put you in jail ourselves. And our last story for the night, CNN President Zuckerberg, we won't be shamed into covering the Benghazi hearings. Yeah, they won't be shamed because, you know, they have more breaking news about how they haven't found the missing plane. And the missing plane story is, a good story. People want to know what happened to their loved ones, and I definitely understand that. But, every 10 minutes, breaking news, we've found nothing. Big graphics on the screen and flipping over all the stuff that McBreen makes. So, that they would rather talk about the plane that they haven't found, breaking news on that front, instead of talking about actual news or, more news that we can prove. Once again, I do have sympathies for the people who are lost or, still missing on that situation. But, let's talk about Benghazi, but they don't want to talk about that because then you hate women. You're not for women because you talk about Benghazi, which translates to Hillary Clinton. Anyway, that's it for this segment of the INFOWARS Nightly News. Now, after this break, we'll talk to David Knight. He has a special report talking about Rand Paul and the filibuster, so he'll fill you in on that. And also, before we get to that, if you like this broadcast and you'd like to see it continue, stop by prisonplanet.tv and get yourself a 15-day free trial. You can get the nightly news, the special reports, the rants, the movies, all right there on prisonplanet.tv. And at the very end of our show, Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs will be talking to Anna Judd, who is running across the country to raise awareness of veterans and the treatment of veterans. So you don't want to miss that. This is the INFOWARS Nightly News, and we'll see you right after this break.